Welcome, everyone. As we scale architectures to handle millions of requests, the stability of individual nodes becomes paramount. Today, we explore Cgroups, the Linux kernel feature that allows us to allocate, prioritize, and isolate system resources like memory and CPU. For infrastructure engineers, understanding memory control groups, or memcg, is the difference between a resilient cluster and one plagued by cascading failures. We will dive deep into how the kernel tracks memory usage at the group level and how we can use these primitives to ensure predictable performance in multi-tenant environments. By the end of this session, you will be equipped to design systems that handle memory starvation gracefully without total service collapse. The evolution from Cgroups v1 to v2 represents a major shift in how we manage hierarchies. In v1, different controllers lived in separate trees, which led to complex interactions and inconsistent resource accounting. In v2, we have a unified hierarchy, simplifying the resource management model significantly. This unification allows for better cooperation between memory, I/O, and CPU controllers. For senior architects, migrating to v2 is critical because modern features like pressure stall information and more accurate memory accounting are only fully realized in the unified model. We'll look at how the directory structure reflects this simplicity by having a single root for all controllers. Memory control groups, or memcg, are the subsystem responsible for accounting and limiting memory. Every page of memory used by a process, whether it's anonymous memory, page cache, or kernel memory, is attributed to a specific cgroup. The kernel maintains per cgroup least recently used lists, or LRUs. When a group hits its limit, the kernel doesn't just look globally, it performs reclamation locally within that group's pages. This isolation ensures that a memory leak in one service doesn't drain the page cache of a neighboring high-priority database instance, effectively containing the blast radius of resource-heavy processes. In Cgroup v2, we primarily deal with two types of limits, memory.max and memory.high. Memory.max is the hard limit. If a process exceeds this and the kernel cannot reclaim enough memory through local eviction, the OOM killer is invoked immediately. Memory.high, on the other hand, is a soft limit, or throttling point. When a cgroup crosses memory.high, the kernel slows down the process by forcing it into direct reclaim, providing a buffer before the hard limit is reached. Architecting systems to use memory.high effectively allows for smoother degradation and prevents abrupt service termination, which is vital for maintaining high availability in production clusters. Out-of-memory events are the bane of high-scale systems. When a memcg exceeds its hard limit and reclamation fails, the kernel's OOM killer selects a victim within that specific group to terminate. Unlike global OOM, this is localized to the offending cgroup. We can tune this behavior using score adjust to protect critical processes, or use the memory.oom.group parameter. Setting memory.oom.group ensures that if one process in a group is killed, the entire group is terminated, maintaining consistency in multi-process containers. This granular control allows architects to design predictable, fail-fast mechanisms that prevent corrupted state. Swap can be a double-edged sword. While it provides a safety net for bursts, excessive swapping, known as thrashing, kills performance. memcg allows us to control swap usage per group using memory.swap.max. By setting this limit, we prevent a low-priority batch job from filling up the system's swap space and impacting the latency of the main application. In high-performance environments, we often disable swap entirely for certain groups while allowing it for others, ensuring that critical path services always stay in physical RAM and avoid the millisecond-scale latencies of disk I/O. Visibility is key to mastering memory management. The memory.stat file in each cgroup directory provides deep insights into how memory is being used. It breaks down usage into active versus inactive file cache, anonymous memory, and various kernel slabs. For infrastructure engineers, monitoring the working set refault metric is crucial. It tells you if the kernel is frequently evicting and then reloading the same memory pages, a sign that the cgroup's memory limit is too tight and is causing performance termination, even without hitting the hard limit. Proper instrumentation of these stats is essential for proactive capacity planning.
Pressure stall information, or PSI, is a revolutionary feature in the modern Linux kernel.
It provides a way to quantify exactly how much time your tasks are waiting for memory resources. Instead of just looking at utilization percentages, which can be misleading, PSI gives you sum and full stall metrics. Sum indicates that some tasks are delayed by memory pressure, while full means all non-idle tasks are blocked. For a senior architect, PSI is the ultimate metric for detecting memory starvation before it triggers an OM, allowing for dynamic load balancing or autoscaling based on actual resource pressure rather than just raw usage. In a multi-tenant cloud environment, noisy neighbors are a constant threat. One rogue process consuming all available page cache can slow down every other service on the machine. By utilizing Cgroups memory protection, specifically memory.low and memory.min, we can guarantee a minimum amount of memory that the kernel will not reclaim from a group. Memory.min is a hard guarantee, while memory.low is a best effort protection. This ensures that even under heavy global memory pressure, our mission-critical services maintain their hot memory in the cache, preserving low latency and high availability across the entire shared infrastructure. To wrap up, mastering Cgroups in memcg is essential for anyone designing ultra-scalable systems. We've covered the hierarchy of Cgroup v2, the difference between hard and soft limits, and the importance of monitoring through memory.stat and PSI. As a best practice, always favor memory.high over memory.max to avoid hard kills, and use memory.min to protect your core services working sets. By treating memory as a strictly managed resource rather than a global pool, you build a foundation for high availability and consistent performance in the face of unpredictable workloads. Thank you for participating in this deep dive into Linux resource management.